play The Emperor Johns by Eugene O'Neill. In the previous live streaming sessions, we looked at the biographical details of Eugene O'Neill. We also discussed some of the very important themes that are significant in the case of the plays of Eugene O'Neill. And yesterday we looked at the very source and the origin of the play The Emperor Johns, and we began the scene-wise discussion of the play The Emperor Johns. And now we are in the first scene of the play The Emperor Johns. We know that the play has just 8 scenes, and we know that the play is noted for the blending of realism and expressionism. And we know the first and the last scenes are realistic, and the middle scenes 2 to 7 are expressionistic. And the original, the very beginning, the first scene is rather lengthy. All the other scenes are very short. And yesterday we began reading out the dialogues of scene 1 of the play The Emperor Johns. Today we will continue from where we stopped the other day, but before commencing our discussion of the remaining part of the text, The Emperor Johns, let us just look at some of the essential themes of the play The Emperor Johns. In fact, I told the important topics some time ago, but still I repeat it. Maybe when we go forward, this will, of course, help you to look at the play from all these points of view. So one of the important questions, or rather one of the important themes, is blending of expressionism and realism in the play The Emperor Johns. And another important question is the theme of The Emperor Johns, the eternal conflict of good and evil, substantiated? Another very important theme is collective unconscious in The Emperor Johns. Another one is the use of interior monologue in the play The Emperor Johns by Eugene O'Neill, the use of interior monologue. So we know that most of the psychological novels and stories written in the very stream of consciousness pattern have interior monologue in. So interior monologue is the method used by writers, and especially fiction novelists as well as story writers, so too dramatists. So the use of interior monologue in the play The Emperor Johns. Another important topic is symbolism in The Emperor Johns, expressionism in Emperor Johns, then importance of the tom-tom in The Emperor Johns. And thereafter we have very textual questions like character analysis. And we know the important characters or the dramatis personae of the play The Emperor Johns. The most significant character is the emperor, that is Brutus Johns. Then we have Henry Smithers. We know that Henry Smithers is a white Cockney trader. Then we have Lem, the native chief, and a number of soldiers who are all the followers of the native chief Lem. And of course, we have the little formless spheres as a group of characters. And the little formless characters are significant when we consider the play as a blending of realism and of course, expressionism. So also when we consider the play as a psychological play or a play which deals the union principles of the collective unconscious. All right, and now we have to continue our analysis or reading and discussion of the play The Emperor Johns. But before that, I want you to remember one thing. This play is a very important play. You know that Eugene O'Neill is one of the greatest playwrights of United States of America. Not only the United States of America, Eugene O'Neill is also a playwright of the world, and his plays are very significant. And The Emperor Jones is, of course, one of the greatest plays of world literature. And A number of critical works are on the plays of Eugene O'Neill. So also on the Emperor Jones, the play of O'Neill. So now I would suggest some of the important critical works on the Emperor Jones. Before that, please get a copy of the original drama, that is the Emperor Jones, and just read the play so that our discussions become very, very meaningful and useful. It will, of course, help you. So now, one of the important critical works on Eugene O'Neill's plays, so too on the Emperor Jones, is by the critic B.H. Clarke. So B.H. Clarke's text, Eugene O'Neill, The Man and His Plays, is very, very useful. So I recommend this text for further reading. So it's a wonderful critical work on the plays of Eugene O'Neill. So please read B.H. Clarke, Eugene O'Neill, The Man and His Plays. Some of the chapters discuss this play, which we discussed, that is the Emperor Jones. Then another very important critic and another title on Eugene O'Neill is by Doris, D-O-R-I-S, Doris V. Falk, F-A-L-K. Doris V. Falk has written a very good work on title on Eugene O'Neill, and the title is Eugene O'Neill and the Tragic Tension. Eugene O'Neill and the Tragic Tension. This is something like A.C. Bradley on Shakespearean tragedy. So Doris V. Falk is also a commendable book. It's very useful for everybody who wishes to understand the plays of Eugene O'Neill. So please try to read the title Eugene O'Neill and the Tragic Tension by Doris V. Falk. So I can just read out one quotation from Doris V. Falk. Doris V. Falk talks about Emperor Jones, and I quote, "A gigantic figure brought low by the very forces which exalted him, universal but not man, individual but not Eugene O'Neill." So this is about Emperor Jones. So Emperor Jones is a gigantic figure, a great figure, a gigantic figure brought low by the very forces which exalted him, universal but not man, individual but not Eugene O'Neill. Okay, so that's about the play, The Emperor Jones by Doris V. Falk. Besides Doris V. Falk, we have another very significant title, and that title is written by John Gassner. So it is good that you remember the name of John Gassner. John Gassner's O'Neill, A Collection of Critical Essays, is very, very useful for all literature students, especially students who just specialize on Eugene O'Neill. And of course, this play, this title, Gassner's O'Neill, A Collection of Critical Essays, is also about, there are, of course, essays on the play, The Emperor Jones, in this particular title of John Gassner, O'Neill, A Collection of Critical Essays. And now we have to start today's discussion of the scene one. We are just halfway through scene one, and now we have to continue from where we stopped the discussion of scene one yesterday. Yesterday we saw the first scene, and we know that the first scene is very much realistic, and in the very realistic scene, we have the most significant character, that is uh, Emperor John's. And now Emperor John's is accompanied by the uh, Cockney trader, that is Smithers. So Smithers is along with Emperor John's, and both of them are just talking, and the dialogue between Emperor John's and Smithers helps the readers look into the past of Emperor John's. And the spectators, when the play is performed on stage, we know that all the plays are, of course, written for performance on stage. So when we watch the play on stage, we see the two characters, the Emperor John's, Brutus John's, and Smithers, talking to each other. And through their dialogue, as Emperor John's and Smithers just talk to each other, we understand the past of Emperor John's. We understand how Emperor John's became the emperor of this island. We understand how Smithers became the lieutenant of the Emperor John's. And we have come almost halfway through the original scene of the play, Emperor John's. And these two just blame each other. These two just blame each other. And we know that uh, during the past years, Emperor John's was being very, very cruel, and he has overtaxed the people of the island. And it was his story of the silver bullet that helped him to control the inhabitants of the island. So now we will continue our reading out of the scene one. John's with a laugh. Oh, that silver bullet sure was luck, but I makes that luck. You hear? I lost the dice. Yes, when that murdering nigger old Lem hired to kill me takes aim 10 feet away and his gun misses fire and I shoots him dead. What you hear me say? Oh, this is what happened. Johns was in front of the native chief Lem. Lem was about to fire him, shoot him. Of course, he fired. The bullet didn't hit Johns, and John said that he has supernatural protection, and he had, of course, some divine power, and it was because of his divine power that the bullet didn't hit him. And he said that he can never be killed by a normal lead bullet. He, because he was lucky then, but he convinced the native chief and all the other people there that he can only be killed by a silver bullet. And thereafter, the natives of the island just worshipped him, obeyed him. They were all very, very obedient and committed to him. And he exploited them as much as he can. And he has amassed, piled up a lot of money in European banks. And now the inhabitants of the island are protesting against him. They have made silver bullets to kill the Emperor John's, Brutus John's, who was exploiting them. Now, Smithers, you said you had got a charm so as no lead bullet would kill you. You were so strong, only a silver bullet could kill you. You told them, blimey, wasn't that swung for your and plain fatted luck? Smithers asked Jones. You said about the silver bullet, and of course, it was just a swang, it was just a story. And wasn't that just luck? John's proud. I got brains and I uses them quick. That ain't luck. Yeah, I got brains. I'm intelligent. I'm smart and I use my intelligence. And it is not luck that I became so successful. I used my intelligence. I was clever, and that ain't luck, Jones. I got brains and I uses them. That ain't luck. You all know they wasn't only liable to get no silver bullets, and it was lucky didn't hit you that time. Smithers tells, okay, there was no silver bullet then, and you just spoke about the silver bullet. Wasn't that luck? Now, John's there all them full bush niggers was kneeling down and bumping their heads on the ground like I was a miracle out of the Bible. Oh Lord, from that time on I has them all eating out of my hand. I cracked the whip and they jumped through. He says, yeah, my story of the silver bullet became successful, and they just worshiped me like God, and they knelt down in front of me, and I could control them with a sniff. Yankee bluff done it. You Yankee, you did it. You just exploited these people. I'm a man talking big. What makes him big? Yes, this is what made me big. I was talking big. I used my intelligence, and because I was talking big, I became big. And a man's talking big, what makes him big? Long as he makes folks believe it. Sure, I talks large when I ain't got nothing to back it up. But I ain't talking wild just the same. I know I can fool them. I know it. That's backing enough for my game. And I ain't got to learn their lingo and teach them of them English before I can talk to them. Ain't that work? You ain't never learned any word ever it. Smithers, in the 10 years you've been here, do you know it's money in your pocket trading with them if you does? But you see too shiftless to take the trouble. Okay, so typical native West Indian dialect here, and John's learned the dialect of the native people, and he uses that. He talks to Smithers that he was talking big things, was always boasting, and it was his big talks that made him very big. And he just says that he could learn. Emperor John's, Brutus John's learned the language of the native people, and by learning the language of the native people, he could just control them, and now he has made a lot of wealth. Smithers flushing. Never mind about me. What's this? I have heard about you really having a silver bullet molded for yourself. Okay, don't worry about me, Smithers says. When Jones is asking Smithers to be careful, Smithers says, don't worry about me. But you have been talking about a silver bullet. Do you have a silver bullet reality? In reality, do you have a silver bullet? Or is it just a story? Are you just bluffing? Is it true? It's playing out my bluff. I has the devil silver. I has that silver bullet molded, and I tells them when the time comes, I kills myself with it. I tells them that cause I'm the only man in the world big enough to get me. No use in their trying, and they falls down and bumps their heads. I does that so I can take a walk in peace without no jealous nigger gunning at me from behind the trees. Yes, I told them about the silver bullets, and in the beginning I didn't have one, but I molded one. Now I have the silver bullet with me, and with this silver bullet I can kill myself when I'm in trouble, and no one is going to kill me. No Negro of this island is going to kill me, and they will not try to kill me because they think that their lead bullet is futile, is ineffective, and I am just very powerful, and I am very confident, and I am bold. I don't fear anyone. Smithers astonished. Then you want it made? Honest? Do you have a silver bullet? Really? Sure did. He or she be. Now, John's is about to show the silver bullet to Smithers. He takes out his revolver, breaks it, and takes the silver bullet out of one chamber. Five lead and this silver baby at last. Okay, there are five lead bullets and one silver bullet. And the last one, the sixth bullet, the silver bullet, is for me. I will kill myself with the silver bullet if I am in trouble. He holds it out in his hand, looking at it admiringly as if strangely fascinated. Smithers, let me see. Smithers reaches out his hand for it. Now, Smithers, who is standing beside Brutus Jones, Emperor Jones, is trying to have a closer look at the bullet, but Brutus Jones doesn't trust him. Keep your hands where they belong, white man. He replaces it in the chamber and puts the revolver back on his hip. Smithers, God blimey, think I am a bleeding thief? You would? Oh, by God, do you think that I'm a thief? Do you think that I'm going to snatch this bullet, the silver bullet, or your pistol? No, it ain't that. I know you see scared to steal from me. Only I ain't allowing near body to touch this baby. It is my rabbit's food. Okay? No, I don't think that you are going to steal this bullet. I don't think that you are a thief. I am sure that you are not bold enough to steal it from me, but she is my rabbit's food. This is a very good expression, an idiomatic expression in English. Rabbit's food. She is my rabbit's food means she is my charm. She is the charm that protects me. So these silver bullets are the charm. It is the magical power, the divine power that protects me. I don't want anyone to touch it. A blooming charm. What? Well, you will need all the bloody charms you ask before long's help me. Okay. Anyway, you need all your charms before much long because you are in trouble. May God help you. You are in deep trouble. Oh, that's good for 6 months yet for they get sick of my game. Then when I see trouble coming, I makes my getaway. So when Smithers tells Jones that Jones is in trouble, Jones tells me this that I understood that the native people were about to revolt against me. They were just conspiring amongst themselves 6 months before, and I have made all arrangements for my getaway. Oh, you got it? All planned? Ain't you? So you made all plans? Are you aware of the fact that they are going to have a war? You made preparations? I no fool. I'm not a fool. I knows this emperor's time is short. That way I make hay when the sun shine. Yeah, I'm not a fool. I know that this emperor business is not going to last forever. So I make hay when the sun shines. I make money. I tax them when I can. Was you thinking I was aiming to hold down this job for life? Did you think that I was trying to be the emperor forever? No, I'm not a fool. No, sure. What good is getting money if you stays back in this raggedy country? What is the good? Why should I spend my life in this uncivilized, savage place? I make money and I go out. So what good is getting money if you stays back in this raggedly country, this barbarous country? I want action when I spends, and when I see dense niggers getting up their nerve to turn me out, I've got all the money inside. I resigns on the spot and beats it quick. Okay, so I got brains. I'm intelligent. I make a lot of money. And when I understand these Negroes here, the native people here, are going to revolt against me, they are just beginning a war, I just get away. Where to? Smithers asks Johns where Johns is planning to uh, escape to. Where to? Johns, none of your business. Smithers, not back to the bloody states. I'll lay my oath. Anyway, I'm sure you're not going to United States of America because you were imprisoned in United States of America, and I'm sure you just ran away from the prison. You killed the prison guard, and I'm sure you will not go back to United States of America again. And John suspiciously, why don't I? Then with an easy laugh, you mean count of that story about me breaking from jail back there? That's all talk. Okay, you think that I won't go back to United States of America because I just broke the jail and killed the prison guard? All this is just talk. All this is just gossip. In fact, it's not true. And Smithers, oh yes, is it? John sharply, you ain't insinuating I see a liar, is you? Do you mean that I'm a liar? Smithers hastily, no. God strike me. I was only thinking of the bloody lies you told the blacks here about killing white men in the States. Yeah, no, I don't think you are a liar, but I just remember you told all these natives here that you kill a lot of white Americans in United States of America, and I was just thinking about that. How come they are lies? So Johns is asking again, right? I told all these things to the native people here, and do you think that they are lies? You had been in jail for you had and wood in here then. And from what I have heard, it ain't healthy for a black to kill a white man in the States. They burns them in oil, don't they? So you you said you were in jail. You said you killed a white man, and it's not good that a Negro kill a white man. If a Negro kills a white man, the white people in America will, of course, burn them in oil. Then, did you kill a white man? With cool readiness. You mean lynching scared me? Do you think that I'm afraid of lynching? Do you mean lynching had scared me? Well, I tell you, Smithers, maybe I just killed one white man back there. Maybe I does. I may have killed a white man. And maybe I kills another right here before long if he does, if he don't look out. Okay, now look at that. Look at that. Smithers says, yeah, I may have killed a white man in the United States of America years ago, but even now I can kill a white man. And who is that white man? That white man is Smithers standing in front of Brutus Johns. Smithers trying to force a laugh. I was only spoofing here. I was just joking. Can't you take a joke? Please look at it as a joke. I was just joking. And you was just saying you have never been in jail. And you said you were not in jail. I was just joking. Johns, in the same tone, slightly boastful. Maybe I goes to jail there for getting in an argument with racists over a crap game. Maybe I gets 20 years when that colored man died. Maybe I gets in another argument with the prison guard was overseer over us when we were working the rods. Maybe he hits me with a whip and I splits his head with a shovel and runs away and files the chain of my leg and gets away safe. Maybe I does all that and maybe I don't. It's a story I tells you so you knows as the kind of man that if you have repeats one word of it, I'll end you stealing on this earth my damn quick. Okay? So John's right now says that, okay, maybe whatever I told you could be true. I might have killed a white man. I might have killed many white men. Maybe I have killed the prison guard. Maybe I have killed the overseer. Maybe I have killed, of course, the planter. So it could be true. And if you don't behave well, of course, I can even kill you, says Johns. And Smithers, terrified. Think I preach on you. Not me. Ain't I always been your friend? Do you think that I'll tell you stories? No, I won't tell you stories. Ah, am I not your friend? Ain't I been your friend? So remember, dear friends, the kind of language used here is all this expression like think I would speech on here, not me. Ain't I always been your friend? All this is the very dialect of the native people of West Indies. The Negro language is used here by Smithers as well as Johns. They learn the language of the native people and they use. Now John suddenly, sure, you has and you better be okay. You sure are my friend, and you better continue like my friend. Smithers, recovering his composure and with it his malice. And just to show I'm your friend, I'll tell you that bit of news I was going to. Okay, I'm your friend, Brutus Jones, Emperor Jones. I, Smithers, is your friend. I'm your friend. And I have to tell you something very important. And this is very important. Let us listen. What is that? I am your friend. I'll tell you that bit of news I was going to. Go ahead. Shoot the piece. Say the news. Must be bad news from the happy way you look. Okay? I know you are very happy, and I know that this is going to be a bad news for me. Smithers warningly, maybe it's getting time for you to resign with that blooming silver bullet. What? Okay? Remember, my dear friend, Emra Jones, it's time you resign. Okay? So you better resign. So you better stop your job as the Emperor Jones again with that blooming silver bullet again. You better just go away, save yourself. Your time is up. John's puzzled. What's that you say? Talk plain. I don't understand what you say. Talk plain. Be frank. Be open. Smithers. Ain't noticed any of the guards or servants about the place today? I haven't. Okay. So haven't you noticed anything? John carelessly. They are all out in the garden sleeping under the trees. When I sleeps, they sneaks asleep. When I sleeps, they sneak asleep too. And I pretends I never suspicions in it. All I got to do is to ring the bell and they come in flying, making a bluff they was working all the time. So now Smithers is asking, haven't you noticed any change? None of your servants is here, none of your guards is here. Haven't you noticed it? And Smithers says, I know. All of them are sleeping under the trees. I know they will be sleeping when I am sleeping. So every day after lunch, I sleep for some time. So I think they are sleeping. And now, when I ring the bell, they will come. Jones is still confident that his subjects are ready to listen to him. They will react and respond when he rings the bell. And Smithers, in the same walking tone, ring the bell now, and you will bloody well see what I means. Okay, Johns, you are confident that you will have your servants and guards when you ring the bell. Okay, in that case, please ring the bell. Let us see if they just come and pay attention to you. Johns, startled to alertness, but preserving the same careless tone. Sure, I rings, reaches below the throne and pulls out a big common dinner bell which is painted the same vivid scarlet. So notice that almost everything in the palace of Emperor Jones is painted scarlet red. So he right now brings a huge bell and he rings this vigorously. At a stretch the bell rings incessantly, then stops to listen. Then he goes to both doors, rings again, and looks out. So John's right now rings the bell, rings it again and again, looks to and fro, looks left and right. Nobody comes. And Smithers, watching him with malicious satisfaction, after a pause mockingly, the bloody ship is sinking, and the bleeding rats and slung their hooks. Okay, your bloody ship is sinking. Your time is up. All the people are against you. They have gone away. Nobody will come. John's, in a sudden fit of anger, flings the bell clattering into a corner. Now he throws away the bell. Is very upset and angry, and he throws away the bell. Low flung woods niggers, you fools, Negroes, where are you? Then catching Smithers' eye on him, he controls himself and suddenly bursts into a low, chuckling laugh. Reckon I overplaced my hands this once. A man can take the pot on a bobtail flush all the time. Was I saying I'd sit in 6 months more? Well, I'll change my mind then. I cashes in and resigns the job of emperor right this minute. Okay? Now that no servant, no guard comes to attend to Emperor John's, Emperor John's is under some panic. He is in some tension, and he talks to Smithers that don't think that I will continue this emperor job for 6 more months. This moment I can resign this job. This moment I can go away. I can help myself. I can save myself. Smithers with real admiration. Blimey. Blimey means, oh my God. Blimey. But you are a cool bird and no mistake. Okay, you are a cool bird and right. You make no mistake. I'm sure you will, of course, save yourself. John's, no use fussing. When I knows the game is up, I kisses it goodbye without no long waits. They have all run off to the hills, ain't they? Yeah, I know that the time is really very very troublesome. I know that the all the Negroes are revolting, and I know that they have gone to the hills, and I'm sure they will begin the battle soon. So I can just run away any moment. Smithers, yes, every bleeding man, jack of them. Okay, so all these rascals have gone to the hills, Johns. Then the revolution is at the post. The revolution will begin soon. The war will begin soon. And the emperor better get his feet smoking up the trail. And now the native people are going to revolt against me, and I better save myself. And I'm just going to run away. And Emperor Jones, he starts for the door in the rear. So Emperor Jones is looking for the door at the back of the stage. Smithers, going out to look for your horse? Are you looking for your horse? Do you want to mount on the horse and ride away? Your won't find any. They steals the horses first thing. Mine was gone when I went for him this morning. That's what first give me a suspicion of what was up. Okay, so are you going to use the horse? If you're going to use the horse, of course you will be disappointed because they have already stolen our horses. My horse was stolen, and now of course they have stolen your horse also. You are just going to be in deep trouble. Okay, so we continue our discussion of the Emperor Jones right now, and I request all of you to just continue listening to my lecture on the play Emperor Jones. Will be continuing. So if you find it useful, please of course like my channel, like this session, live session. My purpose is to help you. So if you find it useful, please like it, and of course if you don't find it useful, you can just dislike it also. Just tell your friends that such a channel is there, just live streaming discussions on plays of Eugene O'Neill as well as other lectures. Future will be having lectures on other plays and poetry and all. So now we are discussing the Emperor John's, the play. We are in scene one. So Emperor John's, Brutus Jones is in deep trouble. He wants to run away because he knows that the native people are revolting, and he is about to go out, and Smithers, his lieutenant, is reminding him, no, you won't find your horse. All the animal, all the horses are taken away by the native people. And John's alarmed for a second, scratches his head, then philosophically, well, then I hoops it. Feet, do duty, okay? If no horse is there, I will use my feet. I can run. He pulls out a gold watch and looks at it. Look at that. Smithers, not Smithers, Johns, Emperor Johns has a gold watch. He looks at the gold watch, 3:30. Now, this is very important. So, scene one of Eugene O'Neill's Emperor Johns is in the evening. The time is 3:30. 3:30. Sun downs at 6:30 or thereabouts. Puts his watch back with cool confidence. I got plenty of time to make it easy. Okay, now it is 3:30. It is dark. It's evening. It's twilight by 6:30. So I have enough time. By 6:30, I can just cross the jungle. And Smithers, don't be so blooming sure of it. They'll be after you hot and heavy. Okay? Don't be overconfident. The native people will be after you hot and heavy. Hot and heavy means very angry and very, very rebellious. Old Lem is at the bottom of this business and he hates you like hell. He would rather do you for than eat his dinner. He would. So the native chieftain, Lem, is very angry and he is against you. So he would catch you, he would kill you before having his dinner. John scornfully, that fool, no cow nigger. Does you think I see seared of him? Do you think that I am scared of him? I am afraid of him? I stands him on his thick head more on once before this, and I does it again if he come in my way. And this time I leave him a dead nigger for sure. Okay? If he comes against me, if the native chief Lam is in front of me, and I will shoot him, I will kill him, and I won't leave him anymore. This time I will kill him. Smithers, you will have to cut through the big forest, and these blacks here can sniff and follow a trail in the dark like hounds. You would have to hustle to get through that forest in 12 hours, even if you knew all the blooming trails like a native. Okay, so it's very difficult for you. Maybe you will be wading through the jungle, but as you are wading through the jungle, the native people will be after you, they will follow you, and they will follow you like hounds hunting dogs, and they will catch you. And maybe, of course, you think that you have you know all the trails in the jungle like the native people, but they will catch you. So be very careful. And John's with indignant scorn, very scornfully. Look here, white man. Does you think I as a natural boot fool? You use me this, you white man. Do you think that I'm a fool? Give me credit for having some sense. I'm intelligent. For Lord's sake, for God's sake, don't you suppose I see looked ahead and made sure of all the chances? See, I'm very intelligent. I just I foreseen everything. I made enough arrangements for my escape. Don't you think that I have done all that? Do you think that I'm a fool? I could go through on them trails with my eyes shut. I can walk through the jungle even with closed blind eyes with great content. Think these ignorant bush niggers that ain't got brains enough to know their own names even can catch? Do you think that these Negroes fools are going to catch me? Brutus Jones? Who? I suspect not. Not on your life. Why, man? The white men went after me with bloodhounds where I come from, and I just laughs at them. All these white people, they followed me with dogs, but I ridicule them. They can never catch me. It's a shame to fool these black trash around here. They are so easy. You watch me, man. I'll make them look sick. I will. I'll be cross the plain to the edge of the forest by time dark comes. By the time it's night, by the time it's dark, I'll go cross the forest and I'll be, of course, on the other side. Once in the woods in the night, they got a swell chance to finding this baby. So when if I'm inside the forest and if they are inside the forest, they'll not find me. Down tomorrow, I'll be out the other side on the coast where that French gunboat is staying. She picks me up, take me to Martinique. When she's go there, there I save with a mighty big bankroll in my jeans. It's easy as rolling off a log. So this is what Emperor Jones has done. So Emperor Jones made all arrangements for his escape. He had planned. And now he tells me this that if the Negroes follow him, he will cross the jungle, and by morning he will reach the other side of the jungle. On the other side of the jungle is the shore, and at the shore, a French boat is waiting for him. A French gunboat is waiting for him, and he will board the boat and he will go to France. And in France, he has enough deposits and he will live a very luxurious life in France. So he made all arrangements for his escape. Smithers maliciously. But supposing something happens wrong and then do nab you, okay? If something goes wrong and they nab you, they catch you, what will you do? Decisively. They don't. That's the answer. They won't catch me. I'm sure. They will never catch me. Smithers. But just for argument's sake, what do you do? Okay, just for argument's sake, what will you do if they catch you? John's frowning. I've got 5 lead bullets in this gun, good enough for common bush niggers, and after that, I got the silver bullets left to cheat them out to getting me. Okay, so I have 5 lead bullets in this pistol, and I have the silver bullet, and with this silver bullet and the 5 lead bullets, I can just save myself. Okay, so this is John's plan, and John tells me this, and Smithers jeering me. Oh, I was forgetting that silver bullet. You will bum yourself off in style, won't you? Blimey, by God's sake, I know. I forgot the story of the silver bullet, and I'm sure, of course, you will help yourself with the silver bullet. I forgot that. John's gloomily. Now, Emperor Jones is rather gloomy. He's rather disappointed and in a gloomy because he's not very sure that he's going to escape. He's afraid that maybe the Negroes are going to capture him. So gloomily, you can bet your whole roll on one thing, white man. This baby plays out his string to the end, and when he quits with a bang the way he ought. Silver bullet ain't none too good for him. When he go, that's a fact. Then shaking off his nervousness with a confident laugh. Sure, what's I talking about? Ain't come to that yet, and I never will. Not with trash niggers like this here. So these Negroes are not going to capture me. I will save myself. Boastfully, silver bullet bring me luck anyway. This silver bullet will bring me luck and I'll be safe. I can outguess, outturn, outfight, and outplay the whole lot of them all over the board anytime or there a night. You watch me. You watch me. I can uh, overcome all the problems. I can outshine them. I can outturn them. I can outfight them. From the distant hills comes the faint, steady thump of a tom-tom, low and vibrating. It starts at a rate exactly corresponding to the normal pulse beat 70 to the minute and continues at a gradually accelerating rate from this point uninterruptedly to the every end of the play. Now we can listen to the tom tom. Tom tom is the beating of the drums of the native people. So this is a traditional ritual of the inhabitants of this island. They are getting ready to fight against Ebra Jones. So as in a ritual, they have the beating of the drums, and the spectators and the readers listen to the tom tom from the hills in the distance. And now the native people, they are coming closer and closer to the palace of Emperor John's. They are in revolt. They will capture Emperor John's very soon. John starts at the sound. Now, when Emperor John listens to the sound of the beating of the tom tom, he is shocked. John starts at the sound. A strange look of apprehension creeps into his face for a moment as he listens. Then he asks with an attempt to regain his most casual manner, "What the drum beating for? What's that tom tom sound? What's the drum beating for?" Uh, in fact, Brutus Jones understands that the native people are in revolt. Still, he's just asking, "What is that sound? That beating?" But Smithers with a meaning, "For you. That means the bleeding ceremony has started. I've heard it before and I know." And Smithers, the lieutenant of John's, says, "Yes, I have heard it before. This is the tom tom. The native people are revolting. They're coming close. They will capture you." Ceremony. What ceremony? Smithers, the blacks holding a bloody meeting, having a war dance, getting their courage worked up before they get starts after you. Okay? So the Negroes, they're having a war dance. They will capture you. Johns, let them. They will sure need it. Okay? Let them capture me. They will surely need it. That's me this. And they are there holding their heathen religious service, making no end of the devil spells and charms to help them against your silver bullet. Okay? So these heathens, these pagans, the natives, they are having their prayers, they're having their rituals, and they are becoming very strong to fight against you. You have your charms, you have your divine protection, and they want, of course, divine protection for themselves. And in order to have divine protection for themselves, they are making the ritual, the prayers. A tiny bit awed and shaken in spite of himself, John's. Takes more and that to scare this chicken. Okay, yeah, it is. I'm not afraid. It requires more than that. They need to do something more than this to frighten me. I'm not chicken. I'm not a coward. Smithers sending the others feeling maliciously. Now Smithers knew that Johns is rather afraid, and with some malice he speaks. Tonight, when it is pitch black in the forest, they will have their pet devils and ghosts hounding after you. You will find your bloody air. I'll be standing on the end before tomorrow morning. Okay? Tonight, these natives will capture you, and before morning tomorrow, you will you will be killed. It's a bleeding cure place. This forest, that stinking forest, even in daylight. You don't know what might happen in there. It's that rotten still. Always sends the cold shivers down my back minute I gets in it. So this dense forest is so rotten. Even I am afraid inside this forest, and you will be in trouble inside this pitch dark forest. John's with contemptuous sniff. I ain't no chicken liver like you is. I'm not coward like you. Trees and me, we are friends. And there is a full moon coming, bring me light. Okay? I know all the trees in this forest, they are friends of me, and it's a full moon, and I'll have light in the forest, and let them poor niggers make all the fool spells they have mind to. All let these negroes make all the prayers. Okay, whatever prayer they know, let them pray. Does you suspect I silly enough to believe in ghosts and horns and all that old woman's talk? Do you think that I believe in this woman's talk? Do you think that I'm afraid of ghosts? Do you think that I'm afraid of haunting? No. Does seem you know these guys go to with a man was a member in good standing in the Baptist church? Okay, don't they know that I am a member of the Baptist church? I'm a member of the Baptist church, and with my membership in the Baptist church, no ghost can attack me. Okay, sure, I was that, and when I was a porter on the Pullmans before I gets into my little trouble. Now, it is of course quite ironic that Emperor Jones lived a very rude and bad life. He had no Christian quality, but now when he is in trouble, he depends on God, he depends on Christianity, and he is glad to say that he was a member of the Baptist church. But we have to keep in mind the fact that he doesn't have any Christian values. Let them try their heathen tricks. The Baptist Church done protect me and land them all in hell. Then with more confident satisfaction. And I's got little silver bullet of my own. Don't forget. Okay. So may all these people come after me. I'm not afraid of any ghosts, or I'm not afraid of these people. I have my own luck. I have the silver bullet with me, and with this, I can look after myself. Smithers, oh, you haven't give much heed to your Baptist church since you have been down here. Okay, you say you are a member of the Baptist church, but I haven't seen you uh, just practice any religion or making any prayers of the Baptist church. I've heard myself you are turned your coat and was taking up with this blasted witch doctors or whatever the hell your calls the swine. Okay, I've seen you all these years, and all these years you were after the witchcraft, you were after the witch doctors, you were practicing black magic, and now you say you are a member of the Baptist church. John's vehemently. I pretend to. Yeah. I was pretending that I was practicing black magic. Sure, I pretend. That's part of my game from the first. If I finds out them niggers believes that black is white, then I yells it out louder and their loudest. I don't get me nothing to do missionary work for the Baptist church. I see after the coin, and I lays my Jesus on the shelf for the time being. Now, Emperor John says that, okay, he doesn't believe in Jesus. He says that he has given up Jesus for some time. He has given up Jesus for some time. He just abandoned Jesus when he came to the island, and now that he's in trouble, he says that, yeah, he is a member of the Baptist church, and uh, Jesus is going to help him. So now he is very upset. He reaches in under the throne and pulls out an expensive Panama hat. So look at him again. Now he takes a Panama hat, and he's getting ready to go out of this palace. So he reaches in under uh, He reaches in under the throne and pulls out an expensive Panama hat with a bright multicolored band and sets it jauntily on his head. So long, white man, with a grin. See you in jail sometime, maybe. Okay, so it's very, very, very funny. So he takes his Panama hat and he's going out of this palace and he is greeting. He tells Smithers, okay, I'm just going out. Bye bye. Maybe let us once again meet in the jail. Bye bye. Smithers, not me. Okay, I won't be in the jail. I won't be in the jail. Okay, maybe you will be in the jail, but I won't be in the jail. Not me. Won't. Well, I wouldn't be in your bloody boots for no blooming money. But here is wishing your luck just the same. Okay, I will not be in the prison. I'll not be in the jail, but I wish you all the best. Maybe uh, may you have wonderful time. God bless you. John's contemptuously, you are the frightenedest man ever I see. I tells you, I'll save if I was in New York City. It takes them niggers from now to dark to get up the nerve to starting something. By the time has got a head start, they never catch up with. Okay, so it says that I tell you, I would be safe as I was in New York City. All right, he was Emma Jones was in New York City before coming to this island. So as he was safe in New York City, he's going to be safe in this jungle as well. And Smithers maliciously give my regards to any ghosts you meet up with. Okay, so Smithers is being funny again. All right, maybe if you see some ghosts on your way, convey my regards to them. Smithers, Jones, if that ghost got money, I will tell him never haven't you less than wants to lose it. Okay, so if that ghost got money, I'll tell him never to haunt you unless he wants to lose it. Okay, and if I see this is again very funny. So from this we can understand that Johns and Smithers, both of them are very clever, and Johns is just pricking at Smithers. Smithers does the same to Johns as well. So John says that if I see some ghosts, I will ask them to be careful because Smithers is there and he may take all the money from you. So I will just ask this ghost to be careful of Smithers. And now Smithers fluttered, gone. That is of course. Oh, and you taking no luggage with you? Don't you have any luggage? Don't you have any luggage? And John's, I travel light when I wants to move fast, and I got tin grub buried on the edge of the forest, boastfully. Now say that I don't look ahead and use my brains. Okay, I would like to. I want to fast. I want to move fast. So when I want to move fast, I don't take much luggage. I'll all that's left in the place to you, and you better grab all you can, sneak away with before they gets here. Okay. Now I'll be just moving forward, and as I am moving forward, I don't want to take any luggage because if I have luggage, it will be very difficult for me. Now I want you to do one thing before the native peoples come closer to the palace. Please take away whatever you can and just go away. So this is the advice of Smithers to no Johns to Smithers. All right. Now we are just coming to the end of scene one of the Emperor John's the play of Eugene O'Neill. It's of course a wonderful play. We will just complete scene one. Maybe if time permits, we'll go forward to scene two as well because I want to help you and I want to wind up this play at the earliest because after this we have to discuss a lot. So if you find my lecture useful, please like the video and ask your friends also to watch this channel. My purpose is to help my students as well as all who wants to know about maybe Eugene O'Neill or Embra Jones. Now these two are bidding goodbye to each other, and now Smithers gratefully, righto, and thanks to you. As Johns walks toward the door in the rear cautiously. Say, look here, you ain't going out that way, are you? So now when Johns is just going out, Smithers is asking, look here, you ain't going out that way, are you? Are you going that way? Be very careful. Johns, does you think I would sling out the back door like a common nigger as emperor? Yet ain't I? Okay, I'm the emperor. So do you think that I'll be going out through the rear door, the back? No, no, I am the emperor. And the emperor Johns leaves the way, low comes, and that black trash don't dare stop him. Not it, leastways. He stops for a moment in the doorway, listening to the far off but insistent beat of the tom tom. So we can hear the tom tom. The tom tom sound is still there, and listen to that roll call. Will you? Must be mighty big drum carry that far. Then with a laugh. Well, if they ain't no whole brass band to see me off, I sure got the drum part of it. So long, white man. He puts his hands in his pockets and with studied carelessness, whistling a tune, he saunters out of the doorway and off to the left. Now, Emperor Johns is walking out, is just sauntering, just walking in a leisurely way. Although he is walking in a leisurely way, we understand that deep in his heart he is very, very afraid. And now Smithers looks after him with a puzzled admiration. Smithers, the lieutenant of Brutus Jones, is looking after Brutus Jones and he speaks in an admiring way. Yes, God is blooming near with him. God's help me. Oh my God, how bold this man is. Even this moment, he's very, very cool, then angrily. Oh, the bleeding nigger putting on his bloody airs. I hopes they naps him and gives him what's what. I I want the the bleeding nigger refers to Brutus Jones. Oh, this bleeding nigger, Brutus Jones, this Negro. Oh, he is very arrogant and proud. I hope the natives catch him and he is given reward for all his brutality. Now they then putting business before the pleasures of his thought, looking around him with cupidity, a block out to find a whole lot in this palace that would go for a bit of leaves. Let's take a look. Harry, me lad. He starts for the doorway on right as. Now, Johns has gone out and Smithers also leaves the palace. That is scene one of this wonderful play of Eugene O'Neill, Emperor Johns. Now we have to move forward to scene two of the play, The Emperor Johns. As we know, this play of Eugene O'Neill, The Emperor Johns, is of 8 scenes, and the first scene and the last scene, that is scene 1 and scene 8, are realistic, and we have seen scene 1, and let us just consolidate whatever we have seen in scene 1. So scene 1 takes place in the palace of Emperor Johns. It's 3:30 in the evening. It's rather 3 in the evening, and it's afternoon. Emperor Johns was sleeping, and Smithers is whistling, and the whistling sound of Smithers is awakening Emperor Johns, and he comes to the palace, and there he sees Emperor Johns, okay, comes to the palace. He sees Smithers and a conversation between Smithers and Emperor Johns, and in that conversation we understand the very cruel past of Emperor Johns, and of course we understand his corrupt ways and how he exploited the inhabitants. And now Smithers tells Johns that the native people are in revolt and they are just going to start the war. And now, before the arrival of the revolting inhabitants of this island, Emperor Jones is leaving. He has made all arrangements to escape from this island. A, French gunboat is ship is waiting on the other side of the jungle beside the shore, and he will be boarding the French ship, and of course he will go to France. He has invested a lot of money in banks of France, and with that money he will lead a luxurious life. So this is the very realistic scene of the play. Now we move on to scene number two, and scene number two is of course expressionistic. Scene number two is, in fact, the it is the very haunting, fearful memories of Jones. This is what is the collective unconscious of Emperor Jones. Anyway, we will begin scene two right now. It is, of course, evening. Scene one was at 3 in the evening. This is, of course, after some 4 hours. The time could be something like 6:37. Let's start. Scene 2. Nightfall, the end of the plain where the great forest begins. The foreground is sandy, level ground dotted by a few stones and clumps of stunted bushes cowering close against the earth to escape the buffeting of the trade wind. In the rear, the forest is a wall of darkness dividing the world. Only when the eye becomes accustomed to the gloom can the outlines of the separate trunks of the nearest trees be made out. Enormous pillars of deeper blackness. A somber monotone of wind lost in the leaves mourns in the air. Yet the sound serves but to intensify the impression of the forest's relentless immobility, to form a background, throwing into relief its brooding, implacable silence. So we have the action of scene two in the pitch darkness of the dense forest, a haunting, brooding, melancholic, terrifying, horrifying echo is just scintillating and buzzing in the jungle. Jones enters from the left, walking rapidly. He stops as he nears the edge of the forest, looks around him quickly, peering into the dark as if searching for some familiar landmark. Then, apparently satisfied that he is where he ought to be, he throws himself on the ground, dog tired. So we see Emperor Jones is very tired, worn out, exhausted. He is groping for something in the forest, searching for something, and we understand that he has buried something in the ground. He's searching for what he has buried. Now we have the asides or soliloquy of Brutus Jones, Emperor Jones, and these are all whatever we see in scene two. The very description, the sounds, the light, the very stage directions is expressionistic technique used by Eugene O'Neill, the greatest dramatist of America, the greatest dramatist of the world. Now we have the dialogue of Emperor Jones. Well, here I is, in the nick of time too. Little more and it would be blacker and the ace of spades hereabouts. He says that it's dark and very soon it will be darker. He pulls a bandana handkerchief from his hip pocket and mops off his perspiring face. He is covered in sweat, so he's just wiping the swept out of his face. He's very worn out and he's just wiping the sweat from his face. And sure, give me air. I see tuckered out sure enough. That soft emperor job ain't no training for long hike over that plain in the burning sun. Then with a chuckle, cheer up, nigger. The verse is yet to come. So Emperor John says that he is almost tired, and he says that the Emperor job was, of course, easy, and now it is tough time, and he is very tired. But he is asking him to cheer up. He is asking himself to cheer up, right? Okay, maybe worse times come. So cheer up. He's talking to himself. He lifts his head and stares at the forest. His chuckle peters out abruptly in a tone of awe. My goodness, look at them woods, will you? Oh my God, how thick is the forest? How dark is the forest? Turning away from them quickly and looking down at his feet, he snatches at a chance to change the subject solicitously. Feet is holding up your end fine, and I suitingly hopes you ain't blistering none. It's time you get a rest. So he is looking at his feet. His feet is, of course, is tired, and he talks to himself. Maybe I need some rest. Takes off his shoes. Now, of course, his shoes are full of sweat. It is very difficult for him to move forward with the boot. So he's removing. He takes off his shoes, his eyes studiously avoiding the forest. He feels off the soles of his feet gingerly. Now he's looking at his feet, and he is, of course, very sad. You is still in the pink, so the inner, the middle of his feet, the bottom of his feet is pink because it has been inside the boot. It is pink. He feels of the soles of his feet. You is still in the pink, only a little mild feverish. Cool yourselves. Remember, you done got a long journey you before you. He sits in a weary attitude, listening to the rhythmic beating of the tom tom. So, in the distance is the tom tom sound of the native people. They're coming closer and closer. He grumbles in a loud tone to cover up a growing uneasiness. Bush niggers. Wonder they wouldn't get sick of beating that drum. Sound louder, seem like. Now the tom tom is becoming louder and louder. Tom, tom, tom. It's becoming louder and louder. As the tom tom is becoming louder and louder, his heartbeat is also becoming faster and louder. I wonder if this starting after me. So he talks to himself and he says that these Negroes, they are coming after me. They are coming closer and closer. Couldn't see them now. No how. They was 100 feet away. Maybe they are 100 feet away. Sure, they're miles and miles behind. What are you getting fidgety about? So John is becoming very, very nervous. So he's asking, what are you getting fidgety? Fidgety means nervous, upset, worried. What are you getting fidgety about? But he sits down and begins to lace up his shoes in great haste, all the time muttering reassuringly, you know what? Your belly is empty. Okay? You are nervous because you are hungry. Yeah. Remember, Emperor John in scene 1 left his palace when it was 3:30. Now it is almost 7:30. He must be very hungry. He suffers from great appetite and he is afraid, nervous, hungry, tired. Pathetic is the condition of Emperor John's. But he sits down and begins to lace up his shoes in great haste, all the time muttering reassuringly, you know that. Your belly is empty. That's what's the matter with you. Come, time to eat. It's time to have something. And he has buried food in tins, in lunch boxes, is searching for all those food he buried in the forest. Your belly is empty. That's what the matter with you. Come time to eat, with nothing but wind of your stomach. Of course, you feel jiggery. Jiggery means nervous. You feel nervous. You feel fidgety. You feel jiggery because you are empty stomach. Well, we eat right here, and now see soon I get this pesky shoes laced up. He wears the shoes again. He's tying the lace. He finishes lacing up his shoes. There. Now let's see. He gets on his hands and knees and searches the ground around him with his eyes. Now Emperor Jones is searching for the food he buried there. White stone. So he has a mark there, a landmark there. He kept a white stone as a mark. Now he's looking for the white stone. Under the white stone is the food he buried. White stone, where is you? He sees the first white stone and crawls to it with satisfaction. Here you is. I know this was the right place. Box of grub, box of food. Come to me. He turns over the stone and feels in under it in a tone of dismay. And you're gory. So he saw the white stone and he thought that food was there. But now he searches for it. At last he hasn't found it. He's disappointed and very, very downhearted. Oh, there is there is another stone. There's another white stone. Guess that he scrambles to the next stone and turns it over. He turns it over the next stone. And here, neither grub. Where is you? Oh, no food here. Where is the food? And here, gory. As I got to go hungry into the woods, oh my God, will I have to wade through the forest with empty stomach, starving all the night? While he is talking, he scrambles from one stone to another, turning them over in frantic haste. Finally, he jumps to his feet excitedly. Is I lost the place? How I lost the place? How I kept the food somewhere else? Must have. But how that happened when I was following the trail across the plain in broad daylight, almost plaintively, I was hungry. I'm hungry. I gotta get my feed. Where is my strength gonna come from it? I doesn't. Gory, I gotta find that grub high and low somehow. Why it come dark so quick like that? Can't see nothing. Now Emperor Jones is very hungry, is very tired, and is crying, and it's almost dark, and he's asking, why is it dark before I have found food? Why is it dark before I have eaten something? And remember, it to maybe to a certain extent, okay, Emperor Jones is rewarded in the right way for all his brutality, for all his cruelty. He is now suffering. He scratches a match on his trousers. As a box of match is taking a stick of match and he's striking it. He scratches a match on his trousers and peers about him. The rate of the beat of the far off tom tom increases perceptibly as he does so. He mutters in a bewildered voice, how come all these white stones come here when I only remembers one? So he had kept only a white stone. Now there are so many white stones. He is in deep bewilderment, confused, totally confused. Suddenly, with a frightened grasp, he flings his match on the ground and stamps on it. Nigger, is you gone crazy mad? Are you going mad? He is asking himself. Is you lighting matches to show them where you is? Oh fool! Don't scratch the match. If you scratch the match, this light will let the Negroes, the native people, understand your location. They will see the light of your flame and they will fire at you. Be very careful. Don't strike the match anymore. Is you lighting matches to show them where you is? For Lord's sake, you use shade. Be very careful. Gory, I's got to be careful. Oh my God, I got to be very careful. He stares at the plane behind him apprehensively, his hand on his revolver. Now he takes his revolver. He's very afraid. He's in deep panic, so confused, hungry, worn out, tired, just sweating down. He takes his revolver. But how come all these white stones? Looking for food? He buried? Oh my God, a lot of white stones here. And where is that tin box of grub I had all wrapped up in oilcloth? He had worried, he had covered the food in oilcloth, and he looks for it. While his back is turned, the little formless fears creep out from the deeper blackness of the forest. So now he is looking in, and inside the jungle, in the pitch darkness, we can see some formless fears. So on stage, what you see is formless fears is, you can see maybe some flashing of light. So these flashing of light will be like the eyes of creatures. Maybe you think that there are wolves, there are animals, maybe there are human beings. So formless spheres are certain ghosts, and John thinks that these are ghosts of the human beings he killed. He thinks that these are animals, these are incarnations, these are ghosts, and he thinks that these ghosts are going to attack him for all the cruelty he did in his life in the past. So they are black, shapeless, only their glittering little eyes can be seen. If they have any describable form at all, it is that of a grub worm about the size of a creeping child. They move noiselessly, but with deliberate, painful effort, striving to raise themselves on end. Failing and sinking prone again, John turns about to face the forest. So John is afraid, more and more afraid. He stares up the tops of the trees, seeking vainly to discover his whereabouts by their confirmation. Now, Emperor Jones is looking around. He is looking at the trees, and is looking at the sky in order to know his location. And is very, very afraid. And this is the very confrontation of good and evil in the mind of Emperor Jones. All the cruelty he did in the past is haunting him, and he is in deep trouble. Can't tell nothing from them trees. Gory, nothing round here look like I've seen before. Oh my God, I don't know where I am. I've seen this place in the past. As done lost the place sure enough. Oh my God, I've lost my place. With mournful foreboding, it's mighty cure, strange place. It's mighty cure, it's a strange place. With sudden force defiance in any angry tone. Woods, is you trying to put something over on me? Oh, you trees, are you going to bother me? Are you just going to trouble me? From the formless creatures on the ground in front of him comes a tiny gale of low mocking laughter like a rustling of leaves. Now, remember, all this formless fears is the very collective unconscious of Brutus Jones. This is not real. He thinks that there are ghosts in front of him. And he thinks that these ghosts are laughing at him. He thinks that these ghosts are ridiculing him. They squirm upward toward him in twisted attitudes. So Eugene O'Neill uses all the technology, and he lets the spectators see these wonderful, spectacular scene of formless fears. And like the fear of Brutus Jones, spectators also are afraid because they think that these are ghosts, there are ghosts on stage. So the very fear that creeps in the mind of Jones is also in the mind of the spectators. That is expressionism. Very, very effective dramatic technique of Eugene O'Neill. They squirm upward toward him in twisted attitudes. Johns looks down, leaps backward with a yell of terror, yanking out his revolver as he does so in a quavering voice. What's that? Who is there? What's you? Get away from me before I shoot you up. You don't. Now, Johns is very afraid. He picks his pistol. He's just pointing the gun at the formless fears, and he's warning them. Who are you? What are you doing? I'll fire you. Get away from my way. I will shoot you. Now he fires. There is a flash, a loud report, then silence broken only by the far off quickened throb of the tom tom. The formless creatures have scurried back into the forests. Now that Jones has fired, Jones thinks that all the formless spheres have retreated into the jungle. The formless creatures have scurried back into the forest. Johns remains fixed in his position, listening intently. The sound of the shot, the reassuring feel of the revolver in his hand have somewhat restored his shaken nerve. He addresses himself with renewed confidence. Now that he has fired at the formless fears, he has some kind of confidence and he talks with that confidence right now. They are gone. That shot fixed them. Okay, now that I have fired, all those ghosts have gone. They was only little animals, little wild pigs, and he thinks that they were all wild pigs. They are maybe rooted out your grab and eat it. Yeah, yeah. Now it's sensible to Emperor Jones. He thinks that they could be those formless creatures could be wild pigs, and those wild pigs have eaten away all the food he buried there. There was only little animals, little wild pigs. I reckon they have maybe rooted out your grab and eat it. Sure, you fool nigger. What you think there is horns? Exactly. Gory. Oh my God. You give the game away when you fire that shot. Them niggers hear that force shooting. Time you beat it in the woods without no long waits. He starts for the forest, hesitates before the plunge, then urging himself in with manful resolution. Get in, nigger. What you scared at? Ain't nothing there but the trees. Get in. He plunges boldly into the forest. Now he is again coming back to normalcy. Now that he has fired, he thinks that the natives might have heard the sound of his firing. Now that he has struck the match, there was light. Now that he has fired, there was sound, and the natives might have heard his sound. So they would be coming to this location. So he should be very careful, and he is just running into the jungle, and he's going to hide himself. So this is scene number two of the play. We discussed Emperor Johns of Eugene O'Neill, and of course, I have lectured almost maybe close to or some yeah, it is almost 10:45 right now. Yes, I began at 9:15, so 9:15, 10:15, right. So now that we have discussed two scenes, I will wind up the class lecture very soon. So I thank you all. I understand even now there are 65 um friends listening to me. Thank you so much for all your presence and support. Please continue your support every day. If I don't have any problem, I'll be lecturing every day by 9:15, 9:30. Of course, our purpose is to complete the discussion of Emperor John's in the beginning. We'll continue tomorrow also 9:15, 9:30. I'll be online and discussing scene three. Now that we have completed scene one and scene two, next day we'll be discussing scene three, and maybe tomorrow. Okay, subsequent scenes are very small, so I think tomorrow we can wind up four scenes like three, four, five, and six, and once we finish discussion of Emperor John's, we'll begin the discussion of one important poem. That is, of course, A Passage to India, the poem by Walt Whitman. So let us just review and conclude today's class. So in scene one, we saw the discussion of Smithers and Emperor John's. Scene two, it is almost 7:30 in the evening, nightfall. Emperor Jones is in the forest, and he is very, very tired and hungry. He searches for the food he buried there. He doesn't find any food. He is very disappointed, and he still continues his search for the food. And thereafter, he sees the formless spheres, and he thinks that these formless spheres are pigs, and he thinks that maybe the spheres have eaten the food he buried there. And again, he's very, very afraid that these formless spheres are ghosts, and he fires at the formless spheres. And now that he fired, he thinks that the formless spheres have gone away, and he plans to continue his journey through the jungle to the other side of the forest, where on the shore the French boat is waiting for him. Now that he fired, he knows that he did something foolish. He knows that the sound of his firing might have been heard by the natives there. So he thinks that the natives would be coming close to him, and they would just capture him. So before they come closer and closer, he has to go away, and he's running deeper and deeper into the thick forest. Okay, that is the end of scene 2. Tomorrow we will discuss scene 3 of the play. Thanks a lot for joining me. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a wonderful evening, and may God bless you. Good night. Bye bye.